Want to change your life forever? Remember these words, free advice. Someone told me, they said, Tai, the chains of habit are too weak to be felt until they're too strong to be broken. If you want to live the new you, remember those words. Scientists have confirmed it. It's neuroplasticity. And it reminds me of one other quote. When you put these two quotes together, it's transformative. It said, all the heavens and all the hells are inside of you. Now, I don't know if there's heaven when we die or hell. I'll leave that to the spiritual experts. I'm not one of them. But I will tell you, and I'm sure you can agree, there's heaven and hell on earth. I've experienced it, and I bet you have too. Heaven, what is it? It's when the chains of habit reinforce what we really want to do, what our true destiny is. Hell is when our habits oppose what we know we should be doing. This is hell on earth. To live at half capacity, what else could be hell? Injury, you can recover from an injury. Loss of money, bankruptcy, yeah, that might hit you. The average millionaire has been bankrupt twice, but you know what? They recover. But hell on earth is the time that you've lost, because all the money in the world and all the wishing in the world will never get you back that time. All the heavens and all the hells are inside of you. And they're there because when we grew up, society imposed its will on us. They call that social controls. Maybe your parents didn't do the job they could have done because they didn't know any better. The traumas of life. Sigmund Freud, the great founder of modern psychology, one of them says, there's three things that cause us pain in life. This is hell on earth. He says, number one, it's the death and dissolution of our body. He was talking about time and aging and missing out. This is hell. It's number two, the pain of outside forces, things outside of our control. And third, it's other people. And by that, he basically meant screwing us over. All the heavens and all the hells are inside of us, and they're dictated by the habits of the mind. If I lost everything I had, maybe I will. You make money, you lose money. I'm an entrepreneur, that's part of the game. Maybe I'll be back sleeping on a couch like I was not too long ago. I was thinking today, I wanted a challenge for myself. I wanted a miracle at one point. I wanted magic. I thought that'd be amazing. The new you. What is the new you? The new you, strangely, is probably the old you before society dropped bombs on your brain, before the education system imposed its will and kicked all the curiosity out of you that you had when you were 3 and 4, and when you asked a lot of questions, and then society started telling you to shut up. Before life kicked in and Mother Nature imposed fear, because when you're young, you're fearless. But then, all of a sudden, Mother Nature hits you between the head, gravity kicks in, you fall and you go, wait a second, this is a big bad world. Habits of the mind begin to form. And these habits, like I said, the chains of habit are too weak to be felt until they're too strong to be broken. And the next thing you know, fear becomes the dominant force in your life. And the next thing you know, you procrastinate. Not because you know you don't want to do it, but because you want to do it, but maybe the habit of the brain says, what if it doesn't work out? Fear. Or maybe it says, what if people laugh at you? Social control. Or it says, maybe what happens if you go broke? Economic pressure. Maybe it is overanalyzing, so you become paralyzed because you got this option, that option, paradox of choice. You're beginning to create hell on earth. All of a sudden, like I said, I've seen this. Doubts, fears, procrastination, pain. It just swells up inside of us. All the heavens and all the hells are inside you. How do you find heaven? Easy. Find the new you. It's not the new you. I just like to call it the new you because it feels new. It's probably the old you. Think about it. You remember thinking about something, and I was a little kid, I remember drawing out how things were gonna go down. And this, and I was gonna fall in love, and I was gonna have business, I was gonna have kids, and da-da-da-da-da. I was always kind of an entrepreneur, so I was gonna do my harebrained ideas. And then life hit. And most of it, like Freud said, is the pain of other people letting you down. And so you start going, if I can't trust that person, I can't trust anybody. Hell on earth is beginning to be created. And that chain, that habit of the mind becomes so strong, by the time you realize it, by the time you realize you're a fear-based person, by the time you realize you procrastinate a lot, you can't fix it. But you can if you understand the transformational power of the mind. Scientists call this neuroplasticity. Biologists now call this epigenetics. You can change your destiny instantly. All change happens instantly, even though it takes a while to show up. If you can master the habits of the mind, then the chains will fall off. And once the chains fall off, suddenly, the things that you've been dreaming about, you begin to do. And I'll tell you, that's heaven on earth, man. I've met people like that. My mentors were people unlike anybody I'd ever met before growing up, because I saw it in their eyes. I still see it in their eyes. Some of them are old now. You know, they were 20, 30 years ahead of me. And I see them now, they're older. And the last time I saw Joel Salatin, he stayed at my house, he said, you see the spring in his step, you see the eyes, they're alive, man, unlike anything you see in the status quo society that we live in. And all of a sudden he said to me, he said, I don't even know how people sleep with all the opportunities. Earlier today, I was live casting with my buddy, who's an Amazon affiliate guy, making all this money on Amazon. And he looked at me, he's like, dude, you can't believe how much money. I made 100 grand doing this and 50 grand. And this guy grew up in the projects. Heaven on earth. Because the real him has been unleashed. And I'm recording this video because some things that happened to me privately recently, and they made me think, Tai, you gonna go back to hell on earth? I already been there, man. I bet you've been there. Hell on earth is exactly what it sounds like. Hell, the pain, the loss of freedom and opportunity hit you so hard that all you can do is sit there and go, what the hell did I do wrong? Like I said, I've seen it. It can be an instant change. For you, it's gonna be different than it was for me, but it will always be the same place. All the heavens and all the hells are inside of you, and they're the habits of the mind. Nelson Mandela was in prison for 27 years. Unjustly, most people will go nuts, crazy, kill themselves, be angry at the world. Nah, he came out and won a Nobel Prize and ended apartheid in South Africa. He understood that the chains of habit were too weak to be felt until they were too strong to be broken. So my advice to myself, maybe it'll help you, is guard your mind. When you feel the negativity creep in, when you surround yourself with the wrong people who begin to manipulate your mind, when society, the status quo, begins to infiltrate financially, health-wise, happiness, socially, then you cut it out like it's cancer before it becomes too strong, and you'll never beat it. Some of you watching this are 12. You're the lucky ones. No one ever told me this. So it can be a little harder if you're older, but you better kick it in gear. Exercise the mind. Push the mind. You know why I say read? It doesn't even matter sometimes what you're reading. You're forcing your mind to be in your control, not in the control of the world out there. Everybody you meet has their own agenda. Most often, unless they're close friends and true friends, they got their agenda, and they're happy to manipulate you to get what they want. That becomes hell on earth. Hell on earth, all the heavens and all the hells are inside of you. Say that to yourself a few times. Charlie Munger, one of my favorite people on the planet Earth, one of the wisest people, a billionaire, he says, life will throw tremendous blows at you. Don't get it twisted. I don't care how you visualize. You will suffer the death of a loved one. You will suffer the betrayal of somebody that you thought you could count on with your life. They'll let you down. You will probably be screwed over by a business partner. You will get used to it. Now you can minimize it, but through it all, the great ones, and you must become a great one, they're cool under pressure. That's heaven on earth. When the tornado and the hurricanes of life are hitting you in between the eyes, and you stay cool under pressure because you say, I'm not gonna let my mind be manipulated by my environment. I will be cool under pressure, because only the cool under pressure experience heaven on earth. Hell on earth is an uncontrolled mind that's running your life. I call it being the bitch of your own brain, knowing you didn't waste your time. You weren't overcome by fear, you conquered it. Like Alexander the Great says, throughout history, there's been two types of people, cowards and conquerors. That's my short version of this long quote. You've overcome fear. You still are aware of danger and steer away from it, but you're not dominated by fear. You know when to analyze and you know when to act so you don't become paralyzed by too many options. And I'll tell you, the one tough thing about life is easy to fall out of heaven on earth. Our brain has a negativity bias. Hell's easy to slip into. As Thoreau said, the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. What is called resignation is actually confirmed desperation. Talk to people. Be like, hey man, I'm gonna change the world. People say, man, people already tried that, you ain't gonna do it. That's their confirmed desperation. They're resigned. Nah. Kick it in gear. One thing that technology can do for you that's never been possible in the world, it can connect you into the minds and the heaven on earth that other people are experiencing. You live in their heaven for a second, it gets you used to it. It recalibrates your brain and resets the barometer of what normal is. Change your life, change your mind, change your life. Change your mind, change your life.